I talk about green lights and doors opening for you and just taking them. And I just like saw a green light. I was like, the door's open. I'm taking this and doing everything with it and seeing where it takes us. And it's been 2.5 years now, and probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. It's led to some really fucking cool moments, some new brothers and best friends, and a lot of awesome opportunities. So wouldn't have changed it for the world. And now we're just building something cool. The goal was always, let's make it bigger than ourselves, and we've done that already, which is crazy. It kind of just happened. We're like, let's make it bigger than, and then it just happened, and we're like, okay, we're past that, let's keep doing it. So it's been cool, and we say this all the time, it feels like we're just getting started. So lots of cool things to do in the future.
So this was like probably one of my worst dad moments yesterday. Ended up being one of my worst dad moments. So I take Walker Christmas shopping. Well, let me backtrack. So Walker eats lunch and then we leave. So it's like we leave at like noon, and we're shopping around. And he's like, Daddy, I'm hungry. And I'm like, okay. So he said, I want pizza. So we go up to the food court at the mall, go through Sabero's. I get him a slice of pizza, and we're looking for like a place to sit down, and it is like packed. Yeah, chaos. So we literally walk around, like do a loop like 3 times, and finally there's like this 6 table with a couple sitting at the far end, and I'm like, hey guys, do you mind if we sit here on the other side? They're like, yeah, sure, no problem. So we sit down and we're eating, and Walker's like halfway through this slice of pizza, and he's like, Daddy, I'm gonna need another one. That's exactly what he says. So then I'm like, okay. I said, all right, so Walker, I said, you stay here. I said, you keep eating your pizza, and I'll go get you another piece. All right, so we were sitting like on this side of the food court. Sabero's is over here, so I can't see him at all. So I get over to Sabero's, and the line's like crazy long. They're out of cheese pizza, and I'm in this like, do I go back? Do I stay? Do I go back? I'm like, I'll just stay. He'll be fine. So finally, I get his pizza, and I'm walking back up, and I like walk up the ramp, and there's 3 cops at the table with Walker, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I walk up, and I'm like getting ready for them to like scold me, and they're like, is this your son? And I'm like, yes. They're like, well, he's scared. Like just like stone cold straight face. And so I just like grab him, give him a big bear hug. And so anyway, I felt awful. Like he just like wouldn't let me go. I felt terrible. So before this, I was like, Walker, I said, before I asked it, he said, you know, I want another piece. I said, do you want a milkshake? So anyway, I'm in line now for like 30 minutes. I bring him the pizza. Now he's like, I don't want it. Fine, no problem. I just scared you half to death. You don't need it. So then we go over to Shake Shack because they have like this like Trolls milkshake. And they said that it was going to be a 45-minute wait for food. And I'm like, Walker, let's not get this, buddy, because it's just going to take too long. So he's like, okay. So then we go over to Haagen-Dazs, and we're like 30 people deep in line. And he's like, this is what I want. And literally there's one person in front of us. He's like, I don't want this. I want the Trolls milkshake. So then we go back over.
I was like, you get nothing.
We go back over, order the Trolls milkshake. He finally gets it. We're walking down.
Did it take 45 minutes?
No, it didn't take 45 minutes, like 15.
Okay.
But at this point, so I was gone for 4 hours yesterday. An hour and 45 minutes of it was getting Walker food. So at this point, we get him the Trolls milkshake. We're walking like away, and I look at him, and I'm like, how is it? He's like, I don't like it. So anyway, stood in line for pizza for 30 minutes, threw that out. Took an hour to get a milkshake, threw that out. So then this is like the funniest part of the story. So last night at dinner, like we were talking about it, obviously I told Jordan, and I'm like, so Walker, I'm like, did the police officers ask you any questions? He's like, I didn't answer them. and then I said, did they ask you your name? And like when he gets like kind of embarrassed, he goes like this. So he does this, and he's like, I can't say my name. And I said, what do you mean? I said, did they ask you your name and you told them? And he's like, yes. He said, my name's Walter, because that's what he says. And so, but when somebody says that back to him, he gets really frustrated.
That's not my name.
Yeah. So I said, did the cops say Walter back to you? And he's like, yes.
He's all pissed off.
Super funny. And then after that, he just didn't answer any more questions. So anyway,
that's
awesome.
Hilarious.
That's Walker tugging at my heartstrings.
This is what we have to look forward to as kids.
Okay.
You want to go to the mall, it's going to take 5 hours at least.
Yeah.
3 hours in the food court. So can he not say K's or just his name? Just like the W to K transition.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he has a lisp too, so it's just like.
See, me and him look alike. We have a lisp.
I know.
Speech
A little
impediments.
strange.
There you go.
Okay, so anyway, all right, you guys open your gifts.
Really?
Really?
All right.
I don't know what the hell this is.
Should I feel it?
It's soft.
It's soft and then hard on top.
That's what she said.
Is it a book?
Look at that. Look at that angle. Sure. Is it a prank?
No, it's not a prank. I mean, it might be a prank.
Ooh,
I'm a little nervous.
This is hard. I'm already winning here.
Cookies and Elon Musk.
Ooh, this is gonna make me cry when I read this thing, isn't it?
No.
My book's on one of the coolest people ever, so I'm pretty pumped about that. Card.
You have to open the card. You don't have to read the book, but open the card.
Okay. Well, I can tell you right now, I'm not reading the book right now.
Be here for the next couple of weeks.
Oh, dude. Fuck yeah. Thank you, bro.
You're welcome.
A little slower reading. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Is this a blanket for our office?
Well,
For the office gets so cold.
Oh, this is dope. No way.
Oh, you did this.
This is sick.
Yeah.
I should probably open it this way.
This is really cool.
Is it all the shirts?
well, it's not all of them,
A
but
lot of them.
yeah.
This is what you've been collecting them for
Yes.
years, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, so these are actual shirts?
Those are our shirts. Yeah.
Who made this? Please tell me Gordon's not this guy. So I'm
No,
excited.
no.
Matt's like, I did it. What do you mean? This
This
dope.
is so cool.
This is really cool.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad you guys like
He's
it.
gonna love this thing.
I thought you'd either love it or be like, get out of
This is
here.
fucking
This is
awesome.
sick.
Yeah.
The old to the new, too.
Yep.
Very dope.
Yeah, this is cool.
It smells good too.
Good.
Thank you, bro.
You're welcome.
You always hit with the sentimental gifts.
Can I eat these on the podcast, too?
Go for it.
Yeah, those are Joe's cookies, bro. I was a little frustrated. They weren't on my desk when I went upstairs, and I was like, "This is a problem."
You know what we need to do in Aspen? We need to get 2 different types of snowboards. You have a custom, a flex like board one, and then there's
And have someone film us changing
Yeah.
and just fall.
we don't change it. There's one of them that's like really stiff with really sharp edges. That's for like bombing and carving really hard, but you have to like work really hard at. So
Yeah.
it sucks to have that all the time.
Yeah.
So it'd be dope if we like had a day where we're at Buttermilk and we have one, and we're on Highland, we have another. You
Because
know?
yours is super flexible,
I mean,
right?
bindings are cheap.
Yeah,
the
well,
one
mine's
you have
also
now.
20 years old.
Bindings are
Yeah.
also cheap. Like we could have 2 to 3 different setups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could,
Well,
we could just
if
go
you guys
back.
leave your stuff there,
Yeah.
me bringing it home, the boards can sit flat if they're not have bindings.
I mean,
in
if
my
you want to
bag,
leave your shit up there too, you can, and then they'll send it wherever you want it to go.
I guess, yeah.
And then, because most of the time you're there. I thought it was gonna be the Snuggie, like the hoodie.
like a joke from Christmas Story.
Oh, that's such a good one.
I think we've never heard these questions before, so
Yeah, first time.
First time. So the first question, and these are I think all going to be about just origin story, but who are you guys and why, and what got you started on this brand and in this industry?
I'll probably introduce Chris first, since no one knows who Chris is.
Yeah.
Do they really want us to introduce ourselves?
My name's Chris Bumstead. Maybe I'll be you, you be me.
What was the question again? What, after we introduce ourselves
What got us started in the industry?
in the industry?
And on this brand.
All right. Well, my name is Chris Bumstead.
All right,
That's all I got for you guys. But no, what got me into this industry and this brand? I guess what got me into the industry of fitness is just loving fitness. I think we all share a passion for just like pushing ourselves physically into new levels and mentally, but it started physically when I was younger. Played a lot of sports, wanted to get in the gym, and I kind of sucked at the skill side of sports. So it's really athletic, but I couldn't stick handle, couldn't dribble basketball. I was okay at shooting, but I could dunk, could sprint really fast, was really strong. So I spent all my time in the gym, and I just fell in love with the progress making in the gym and getting better at that every single day, which led into bodybuilding, which led into some social media, some supplement sponsors, and then into this direct industry. I was kind of sick and tired of promoting other people's brands, and I wanted to do my own thing. But I also understood that there's a lot of gaps in what I'm good at and what I'm strong at and what I'm not. So I was like, I want to partner with people who are better than me at what I'm not good at. So Dom and Matt came to me with this opportunity. We'd been working together on Revive to partner on Raw, and they were a fresh company, like months old at the time. And I came down here, and it was more so the culture I fell in love with. It came down from Canada to South Florida, which is just like Florida man memes is what I expected to come into. But luckily, you guys were a little more normal than that. Still a little bit crazy, but a little better than that. But it was just super cool. It was like just friends and boys chilling, like a cool culture that I wanted to just like immerse myself in. I came down for a week. I had an Airbnb, ended up staying for 6 weeks because I was just having fun, chilling. That's when you guys presented me with the opportunity to come on, be a partner. And it just like, I talk about green lights and doors opening for you and just taking them. And I just like saw a green light. I was like, the door's open. I'm taking this and doing everything with it and seeing where it takes us. And it's been 2.5 years now, and probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. It led to some really fucking cool moments, some new brothers and best friends, and a lot of awesome opportunities. So wouldn't have changed it for the world. And now we're just building something cool. The goal was always, let's make it bigger than ourselves. And we've done that already, which is crazy. It kind of just happened. We're like, let's make it bigger than it. And then it just happened. And we're like, okay, we're past that. Let's keep doing it. So it's been cool. And we say this all the time. It feels like we're just getting started. So lots of cool things to come in the future.
It's kind of cool because like we don't even see it, but then when we bring people here, they're just like, "Holy shit!" And we're like, "This is just our this is just our warehouse," you know? Like, it's cool.
I mean, even yesterday when I texted you about the Christmas list, like our Christmas list is just getting, bananas. Which is great, but it's massive.
We actually need Santa now.
Yeah, for sure.
Some help here. Yeah.
You want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Go. All right. My name is Matt Jansen, and I'm one of the partners with Raw and Revive. And I met Dom. Well, okay, how I got into the industry. So my dad was pretty avid into working out when I was younger. And then my best friend, that's still one of my best friends to today, he was older than me in my grade, was like well advanced in working out. So I started working out in 8th grade. My first love was soccer, but I always tried to like lift as a bodybuilder when it wasn't soccer season, which then led me into the love for coaching. And I think what I love the most about coaching within bodybuilding is it's like, your success or failure is truly on yourself. You're not dependent on anybody else, you know. And initially I wanted to go into some type of like collegiate sports or professional sports in terms of strength and conditioning. But I just noticed that it was like, in some ways it's like a good old boy system. And it's more about who you know than what you know. And making those connections in college was hard. So I just wanted to put all the pressure and expectation to either fail or succeed on myself. That's what led me to coaching. And I've been blessed to be able to coach a lot of good people that kind of helped bring my career up. 2016, I met Dom. I coached him for a very short period of time, and that was when, kind of right around the time that he started the clinics. Shortly thereafter, he told me, he's like, "Hey, Matt, like I can't commit to this anymore because the clinics are just expanding and growing so fast. So I can't do it, but I still want to continue our friendship. I want to make sure that we're connected." And then, you know, one thing that he said that has like always stuck with me, he's like, "One day I want to be able to take you out of bodybuilding." So in 2019, it was a Sunday. I was driving home from the gym. Dom calls me and he's like, "Hey, like let's start a vitamin company." He said, "I know how, you know, tuned in you are with supplementation for your guys. And I know from my experience how much you send off to Amazon." He's like, "Let's just do it together." So that's when we started. We launched Revive in, now I'm losing track of time, but that was May of 2019. Yep. We had a lot of success there. And one of the things that kept being brought into Revive was, you know, the ask for sports supplementation. And Dom was pretty adamant because of the vision that he had with the clinics to not kind of merge those two together. Not that there's anything bad, but he just wanted to keep the vitamin line very clinical, keep it in his clinics, and then didn't want to, you know, kind of blur that with sports supplementation. So it kept being asked. Eventually we're like, all right, let's do it, but let's just bring it into a different company. Those conversations started in October of 2019, and then we launched Raw in 2020. And then that's kind of when the story of Chris comes in, which he just told. So it's been awesome. You know, again, like this has been a life-changing decision I made. You know, my family was in Georgia. We moved down here. That's kind of part of the partnership deal with Dom, is if you go into business with him, you need to move south. Yep. But it's been awesome. You know, I'm very thankful for both of these guys and just the role that they've played in my life. And, you know, and also too, this is like we're doing something to set up our family long-term, you know, and that's what's most meaningful to me. So.
Yeah. My name is Dom. I got into the sport, I guess, of bodybuilding and fitness just because I enjoyed it. I needed something to do when I was going through school. So I was doing, my undergrad was in molecular microbiology and my doctorate is in chiropractic. So I had really no time to do anything much.
Yeah. You just needed something else to do on the side of all that.
No, I mean, so it kind of worked out, right? Because like, in my opinion, you know, fitness helps everything, like brain function, cognitive function, all of that. So obviously that was something good that I did. And then I couldn't do anything else. So it was like, if I can't do anything and all I'm doing is studying, why not just like eat every 2 hours and eat like the right food and like see what happens.
Feel better.
Yeah. So it was kind of like one of those things where it was like one of the only things I really could do. Like all my friends were partying and like I just couldn't really do that. It was just not in my cards at the time. So I started just like doing it for fun. I loved it. I followed the sport. I did like a couple NPC shows. And then I just kind of like kept in it, right? I always enjoyed it. I kept doing it. And then I left college, and obviously through what I did in school, I wanted to start a medical office that was kind of catered towards professional athletes. At the time, that's what it was. So there was a clinic in Atlanta called Synergy Sports Institute. They were really big on doing like different therapies that weren't, I guess you could say, like for the public yet. So peptides, different things of that nature.
Chambers.
Hyperbaric chamber therapy, just like different types of like, I guess you call it like a very multidisciplinary office. You know, they did a lot of stuff. So I wanted to add in like the hormone aspect to there. I wanted to add in the peptide aspect to there. So I came to Florida. I opened my first office in 2017, was the first year I started Revive, which is now Relive. And then that's how I met Matt. And then kind of the story goes, right? I met Matt. I loved Matt. I enjoyed talking to him. I thought Matt was just an incredible person, awesome, like friend. Wanted to help in any way that I could. And we created Revive. And then I think one of the things that was funny, like you said, was the amount of people who kept asking us to make sports supplements, right? Like I thought that this space was so fucking saturated at the time. And even when I talked to you, I was like, I'll do anything, but I don't want to make a supplement company. And I think, the plan of action that we had was obviously very unique and starting that and, the third party testing and then obviously having Chris come on as a partner. If I'm not mistaken, I truly think we were the first brand to bring on like an actual influencer as a partner.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone had done that since.
People done lines and collabs.
Yeah, all the
but not a
bullshit.
partner,
Like everyone was, promising the world and kind of like under delivering on that aspect, but no one gave an athlete a future after the sport.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the unique piece of it now is you're starting to see a lot of brands do that. Or people like yourself are partnering with the right people to be able to create something bigger than themselves. And I think that that's kind of cool now that I look back at it and say like we kind of probably were the first people to pioneer that. And it's been cool to see it since. So, because I've seen a lot more of that happening now. So that's it. That's how we started.
And on the topic of creating something bigger than yourself, the community here is pretty great. What is the Raw community about to you guys?
Do it. You're the best at this one. Go for it, Chris.
Our community stands for many things, but I think one of the biggest things that we've been ping-ponging off each other recently is being unapologetically yourself. The combination of being just your true self, nothing fake, no bullshit, nothing inauthentic. Part of the name Raw comes from just being raw and honest in your true self. And within that, it's being the best version of yourself. So it's chasing a higher standard that you hold yourself to, not about comparing to others, but being the highest standard, the highest self that you can be, just consistently being better and better every single day, not worrying about prize or money or success, but just progress over everything, and in doing so being your true authentic self unapologetically, not gonna fuck what other people think about you, just staying in your own lane, getting better every day.
I mean, that's literally like that's it. It doesn't really have anything to do with fitness, doesn't have anything to do with working out or being popular. It's just being yourself and being like okay with being yourself.
What special ingredients do we use in our key products that separate us from the rest?
I think Dom, he answered this best, but the reality is there's nothing special. It's more so about the brand that you create, the people that you create it with, who you bring along, and then, overused word, but the culture that comes from that is what it comes down to. Like we're not, and go back to kind of our origin story for Dom and I, like we weren't. Now we're super grateful that we're in the sports supplement space because of, the way that we've been able to do it and the support that we have. But we weren't excited about this to start. Not that we weren't excited, but we didn't want to venture into this space to start because we felt that unless we could do something different, then we didn't want to do it. So really, when it comes to ingredients, there's no way to really do it different. There's so many different companies that are producing good products, that are having full transparency within their labels, all these things that we feel are important. But how we try to bring the difference was bringing Chris onto the brand. Chris was adamant, going back to what our brand stands for is about doing events that, brought our own people in rather than like co-sharing these, typical way to do it is to go to expos. We do some expos, but really we focus on bringing people, in our culture together to meet, Q&As, meet and greets, whatever, things like that, just to really build up the brand within itself, and to not rely on outside sources to do that. And that's what we've stayed true to this whole time.
Yeah, this is like not planned at all, but someone posted something this morning that I really just want to share because it's exactly like it's this question, but he answered it really well. This is from TJ Humphreys. He's like the original founder of ProSups. He was partners in Rise, and now he runs ABE, which is who I'm talking
energy
about.
drink stuff.
Yeah. So he wrote. This is literally on his story right now. Like you can time like whatever the date is. You
Send
can
me
look
the
right now.
screenshot.
I'll send it to you. But it says brand owners and managers in our space. Some sage advice from a guy who's done it. We all sell the same stuff. You buy your beta alanine from the same place I buy it. I run into you at our shared label manufacturers, or our unique flavors are made by the same place by the same guy making hundreds of others. You know what my trademark ingredient has been in every company I've owned or ran in the last 20 years? My people. People create the flavor of any business. They are the DNA of any brand. You can see this run deep in brands that are winning. If you treat your people like beta alanine or labels, the good ones will find a home where their uniqueness and the irreplaceable value they bring will be what another brand owners talk about in their empty conference rooms. Invest in your people, let them flex, let them run, let them be the owners of the brand, let them scream it from the mountaintops. Let their pride of your business be what makes them wake up every morning, inspiring them to travel all corners to tell others your story. Let your people be what others remember you for. For those that get this right, the beta alanine and the labels don't matter. Good night. So I think this is like probably the best thing that you can honestly say to answer that question. No one, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Huh?
Mic drop.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm literally sending this to you.
All right, yeah, I'll put it. I'll overlay it on the video. So, what are your guys' dreams for Raw in 2024?
I don't want to put like a date stamp on it. I don't really have like an ending for it, but I think it's just to not lose ourselves in the growth of the company, which I don't think is ever going to happen. But I think it's something that to be really cognizant of the whole time, and to just really have fun and love what we do every day. Until that stops, until that goes away, I don't want to stop doing this.
Yeah. To emphasize that, it's like, it's not growth at any cost. It's growth while staying true to what we stand for.
Correct.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then honestly continuing to see the brand evolve as we evolve as people. What I'm very proud of is that we've stayed true to ourselves this whole time, but at the same time, like we as individuals, our hobbies, our passions, they're changing, we're getting older, and just kind of seeing the brand evolve with us as we go through the changes that, the life cycles that we all go through.
Yeah, one of the uniquenesses of, I think, us, and obviously I think I go back to Chris, and the reason why his following is the way it is because take influencer X, right? You have an influencer that gets popular when they're 16 years old or 17 years old, and they get popular for taking shirtless selfies of themselves, and they stay there, right? 20 years later, not 20 years later, but let's say 6 years later, they're still taking shirtless selfies. Yeah. These kids are still doing the same exact thing that they thought is what got them popular. And unfortunately, what happens is, your following, hopefully your following will mature. Right. And in the process of maturing, you can either influence the right way, or you can still be the shirtless douchebag you were 6 years ago. And I think the cool part about the brand and what we've been able to obtain is we've been able to grow in a way of just basically pure honesty of us changing as we got older. But at the same time, we're doing it in a way where we're still influencing the younger generation because they kind of want to be where we are, but we're also taking that same generation that we started with, and they're following us for our journey because we're also maturing with them. And I think that that's one of the biggest mistakes that some influencers make. What got you popular 6 years ago is not going to keep you popular 6 years later. Your following is following you, and they're getting older with you. So if you don't evolve and you don't grow the fuck up, you're gonna have a serious problem on your hands.
Chris, I know last time we talked about this, you mentioned events being something like one of your goals for 2024?
Yeah, I mean, we've been really busy the last 6 months, so I feel like we crammed all our events at the beginning of the year this year, and then next year I want to be able to spread them out a little more effectively. So we've already spoken on planning that, but being able to expand our events into bigger aspects. Like we had these GBRS guys down here, and they preached the same stuff we preach, but from a different background. So I think being able to collaborate with people like that, who are again the best at what they do in their field, not bodybuilding, but amazing at what they do, and kind of bringing them in and be able to talk and expand our community like that and share that knowledge and help people with everything they've learned. I think that's something I want to do with our events, is just like continue to do our events, expand into different style events, smaller ones like we talked about, a 3-day event potentially with like 15 to 20 people, ones with like 1,000 people for one day, stuff like that. But something we need to sit down and really plan in Q1 this year.
Yeah, we should have done that already, honestly, but we're just a little behind on the ball with that one.
Got a lot going on. Yeah. We wouldn't have had time to do it in January, February anyways.
No.
Those are all of the questions. That's it.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Rock and roll.